everybody and welcome back to the channel, and if you're here for the very first time, it's an absolute pleasure to meet you. I'm Jane and my husband Mike is behind the camera. We're British early retirees, we've got no debt, we've paid off the mortgage, and we live a thrifty, frugal and money saving life here in Brittany in northwest France. And every Wednesday, not this Wednesday because it was Christmas Day, and every week we bring to you a mid-week money chat that we're having today on Friday. And today we're going to have a chat with you about how it's been another year of inflation and a reflective video of how we got through a year of high inflation 2024. I'm going to give you a really quick background just in case you're here for the very first time. We're British retirees, as we said to you. We have strange pensions that many people all over the world do not have. We have defined benefit pensions, which means we get an allotted amount of money from the money that we paid in for the years that we were working every month that we take as an income. We don't have a lump of money like maybe some Americans have, for example, and we get it as a proportion of the money we paid in. We took it early at 55 years old because you're allowed to do that in the UK, and you take a smaller pension for longer. So we live off a pension. We also have our side hustle, which is our YouTube channel. We put out 3 videos a week, sharing with you how we live a thrifty, frugal and money saving life. So that's how the money comes in. The money that comes in is equivalent of 2 incomes, the equivalent of a minimum wage here in France, slightly under some months, slightly over on other months. We're thrifty, we're frugal, we're money savers, we live off a budget, we save a proportion of that income each month. We have long-term savings, we have short-term savings for everything that we pay for. We live off a tight budget and we have a very small amount of money for discretionary spending. We make that money work by the fact that we don't eat out. You can see I don't wear makeup, I don't have my nails done, I don't have my hair done. If you've watched the videos week in, week out, you know I've got pretty much a capsule wardrobe. We have a very quiet life. We're homebodies. We like walking. We like crafting. We like gardening. We live a pretty frugal life, and we live off a budget. So in case you didn't know that, you know it now. So let's get into the things that we've had to do in 2024 to get through this year of inflation. Number 1, let's talk about house and property. We've got a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. We renovated ourselves and it sits on 2.5 acres of land. It's just a garden. It's not agricultural land. It used to be a quarry. It's not good land. It's not very good for gardening. It's just land around us, and we do the best we can with it. We have had no major work done to our house this year at all. Nothing done. All we have done this year is maintain it. Cut the grass, cut the hedges. We haven't extended the garden. We haven't done any landscaping work. We haven't planted any trees. We haven't planted any hedges. We've done nothing. We've not done anything inside the house. We've not bought new carpets. We've not bought new curtains. We've bought not even anything secondhand. We have had a spending hiatus completely on our property and on our house this year. We have focused on saving. I'll talk about what we're saving for at the end of the video and things we'll be doing at the end of the video. It's been a year of focusing on getting our very best value for money, no matter what we did or when we did it. We always go on a trip to the UK every year. We make sure we got the very best ferry deal. We booked at the right time. We got the right price. We got a good few hundred off our ferry price. There's not a lot we can save on getting an Airbnb when we get there. It is what it is. But we have a rolling fund for that. We have a sinking fund for going away and doing the things that we do. One of the things that we try and do every year is get away in May for a personal break. So we live in northwest Brittany and we went to southeast Brittany. We went down to Carnac. We had a week away, but we got the very best deal on an Airbnb when we got there. Our Airbnb was a beachfront apartment for $350 for the week because we just picked the right week. in between all the bank holidays and holiday seasons, we just got the right week. We took all our food with us. We went to places where there was free parking. If we went out for the day to other places, we went to cultural places to see things. We went on day trips and days out, and we parked for free. We just took our own food when we got there. So we did have days out, but for the whole week that we were there, we didn't eat out, and that's quite normal. So let's tell you another thing that we do. We normally do this to cope with the cost of living crisis and cope with inflation. Now, we save a whole heap of money here all of the time by the fact that we don't eat out. We don't get takeout, there isn't any anyway. We don't get coffee, there is no takeaway coffee here. There is no drive-thrus here. There are no drive-thrus here. There's drive-through McDonald's, but you couldn't pay me to eat that stuff. So, and that's miles away, nowhere near where I live. It's a 30-minute drive to a drive-through McDonald's, must add that in there. So we save a huge amount of that. And people might say to you, oh, but you live in France, don't you want to be part of all this gastronomy? Like the 50% of all French people, there are 50% of French people don't eat out anyway, who don't go on holiday, who don't have cultural experiences, because like us, they are on a lower budget. And as you can see that I'm standing here in front of you now, it doesn't kill you. Didn't kill me, it's not killing them. We're all right with it. We're really happy to cook and eat at home. And we're all right if we go out somewhere to pack food and take it with us. It saves us thousands, and it is not something that we feel like we're missing out on. Energy prices here are high. Everyday electricity costs are 25 cents per kilowatt hour. So we changed our energy tariff to tariff tempo, which is a little bit fussy for some people. It means that for 22 days of the year, we have to really cut back on our energy consumption, which we can do. So it has red days, white days and blue days. And on a white day and a red day, the energy prices are higher, so you cut back on your use. But that's absolutely okay for us. And I'll explain to you how. I'm stood here now in my kitchen with my wood cooker keeping us warm, and we've got a wood burning stove in our living room, dining room. That's our two sources of heat in the house. That's it. I must add that we have independent gas heaters with butane gas bottles in. One's up in Mike's office and one is in my office, my sewing room. So we do use those, but they don't sort of heat the whole house in the way the wood burners do. So let's talk about our other energy costs that we've really kept down. With our tariff tempo, it means that we now get energy for, I think it's about 13 cents per kilowatt hours for all of the main days of the year. But we've really cut back our energy consumption. So we make sure that we've made the most of the solar that we get. I'll talk more about that in the next section. We do our laundry with solar throughout the summer, and all throughout the winter time, we use our nighttime rates to do our laundry. We've cut back on using our dishwasher throughout the winter months. We heat water on a wood burning stove. We wash the dishes in the sink. I just rinse it with cold water. It then saves on electricity all the time. So we are really mindful about our energy use. We've really cut back on our water use. All the watering of the garden that we did this year, we just pulled water out the river, which is at the bottom of our garden, which we are legal to do so. You only cannot take water from the river on your own property if there are drought restrictions, and we've had none. We've had quite a wet year. So we've really cut back on that. We use shower timers. We've got the philosophy with toilets, if it's yellow, let it mellow. We're just really mindful with all of that. Shower water, keep that in a bucket, use that for flushing the toilet, all of those things. Rinse water from dishes in the summer. If you have two bowls side by side and you catch the rinse water in one bowl, I water my flower pots outside with the rinse water. So there you go. We're really careful about that too. Let's go on to some other things of how we've got through the year. I don't care where you are in the world, food prices for your country, wherever you are, because you might say, well, that country has higher incomes or that country has higher incomes. It doesn't matter, your prices are higher. And it might look to you like our prices are lower, but our incomes are lower. Food prices globally are crazy. I made it my New Year's resolution last year that if I was going to buy any food, it had to be reduced or on sale. And I have stuck to it. This is not easy, but I'm going to share this with you. I have worked the apps on my telephone. I mean, I have worked them. I check those apps every week. I check for every deal. I follow all my supermarkets on Facebook. I get messages from WhatsApp from one supermarket of the deals that are coming up. I've got all the alerts on my phone from all of the supermarkets of when they email me. I now know when the offers are on. I can put my hand on heart here and say, for whatever we've eaten, I haven't paid full price for anything this year. When laundry powder has been on offer, I've stocked up for almost a year. Toilet rolls, I stock up. When toilet rolls here, we pay €4 for 24 toilet rolls. I only buy those 24 toilet rolls when it is buy 2 packs of toilet rolls and get one free. So I'm always making sure I am looking for the deals. I do the same with coffee. When coffee was, they have like random Wednesdays. They had a random Wednesday and coffee was 34% off. I then went and bought coffee for the rest of the year. I do the same with meat. I never pay full price for meat or fish. I know when Carrefour, Lidl, Intermarché, everyone has their sales or their offers. We sometimes eat steak, maybe once a month. And I only buy it when it is on offer. Steak here, ribeye steak here is between 25 and 35 euros a kilo. I will buy it when it's 10 a kilo or 12 a kilo. A leg of lamb here, it can be about 35 to 40 euros. I will only buy them when a leg of lamb is half price, when it's 20 euros or it's about 10 euros a kilo. At the moment, I've got 3 legs of lamb in the freezer. I buy them when they're on offer. I have used my Lidl app to get 15% off an awful lot of products that I buy, and they're already a good price in there. I shop twice a month in SuperU. So one time I go, and as long as you spend more than 10 euros, you get 20% off one shop for all of your fruit and veg. So I then go and do my second shop of the month to get all of my fruit and veg, only when it's on the way, and I'll get all my fruit and veg for the rest of the month for 20% off. Well, I get cashbacks. And that's another thing I've been doing with the supermarkets. The best deals I get are the 34% cash back, which you then just go and literally spend with a card like cash. And I've done that when they've had frozen food. So I've filled up the freezer with vegetables, with fruit, with chips, fries, anything else that we might buy. And I've bought that for 34% cash back. I've built up my cash backs. And then what I do with my cash backs, which is effectively the discount, the 34% discount back to me, is I use those on what they hear in French is remise immédiate, which is the immediate discount of 34%. On those 34% days. So most of the things I buy, like toilet rolls or toiletries or things like that, I use my cash back to get those for free, but I get more of them because I get the 34% or immediate cashbacks as well. So I've really worked hard at this year, and I'll tell you something, at times it can fry your brain, because you have to be really logistical, really strategic to shop like this. It takes effort, it takes planning. I've literally got route maps and days and organisation of this. And I get you that you can't all do this. I understand, I absolutely understand. But it's been hard work. But had I not done this year, I think I would have had to increase my supermarket budget. And I'll be frank with you, our income would not have sustained that. That would have been unsustainable. We wouldn't have been able to save money. We wouldn't have been able to get through the year in the way we had I not played every game the supermarket set out for me. And I promise you, I've played their game and I have not paid full price for anything, not even butter. I did promise at the end of the video I would share with you the things that we have had to spend money on this year. And they've not been emergencies, they have been inconveniences, but we've had to work through them. The first one is I had to do an extra trip to the UK. You don't need to know what that was about. I just had to get there. I had to get there in 24 hours. So I had to get another ferry. We've only got the one car, so I had to leave Mike here with a car, and I had to pick up a hire car there. Most cars in the UK are manual. I've only driven an automatic for 5 years. I've only driven a left-hand drive for 5 years. So going back, I needed to pick up a right-hand drive that was an automatic because I just had to drive miles and miles and miles and miles every day that I was there. So my trip included the car hire was about, and the money that I had to spend a lot of money when I was there as well. My trip, it was just like that, 5 days, like another £1,500. Not euros, pounds. So let's turn that to about 1,800 euros. Then when we went to Carnet for a week, we came back, walked into our basement, and the basement was full of water. Our hot water tank had sprung a leak. So we had to get that replaced as fast as we could. So the water tank, the work to get it done, and it costs a lot here because you pay for insurance on the work as well. So that was another 1,500 euros. And we also had a 300 litre water tank installed because this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. And that is the water tank that's needed. The third thing that we spent on this year is, as I said to you, we haven't had any structural work done to the place, but we have focused on getting some cleaning work done on our property. It's a lot of land and a lot of cleaning. So we've had some big machines in, and we had a lot of fallen trees. We had a huge storm last year. We had trees down all over the place. You might say, why didn't you cut them up? Because we didn't have the equipment big enough to cut them up, nor did we have the skills or the safety equipment to cut them up. We had some quite dangerous trees hanging over rivers and stuff like that. So we had to pay another 1,500 euros on top of that for guys to come in with big, we call them a big digger thing.
Yeah.
We call them a JCB. JCB. Look it up, put it into Google, JCB, you'll see what I mean. Big machines to come in, they cost a fortune. I was talking to the guy and asked him about how much his JCB cost. It was 180,000 for his one machine. So you can understand that the man with the machine coming to hire that for the day of being 1,500 is quite reasonable. So we had lots of work done as well that was not part of our insurance that we had to pay for. When you have a river in your property, although you have access to the river, you have to keep the river clean and clear. So we had to pay for that to be done. And we had to wait until autumn time, till the leaves were off the trees. They don't like to do it when there's leaves on the trees. So we did have expenses, and you were going to say, well, where has that money come from, Jane? We put aside 20% of our income every month, and we've been doing that over the years. And each and every year we put more aside than we spend. So you can imagine that it's like compound interest in it, and also compound interest on it too, of that amount of money building up. And you're also going to ask, well, how are you going to replenish it and put it back? Not in the past, we used to have 3 no-spend months a year. It used to be January, it used to be July, and it used to be October. Well, now we're having January, February, March. We're having July and August, and then we had October as well. So this year, we've had lots and lots of no-spend weeks. The last week of every month is also a no-spend. So you can see what we've been doing when we have no spend is all of that discretionary money that we could have just spent on, I don't know, new sewing needles for my sewing machine, maybe some fabric, maybe a trip to a charity shop to buy some books, those type of things. All of that type of spending has been really, really compressed. And when we have no spend weeks, people might say, oh, but don't you spend the money another time? No, we don't. So we've compressed that down. So our no spend weeks, our no spend months have gone from like 6 to now probably 8. And we've just had to do that because there's inflation, we've had to get things done, you know, the trip to the UK, the water tank, the cleaning up of the trees. So you can see that money's had to go back into our savings. It's been a rough year, isn't it, for all of us? It's been a rough year for all of us. It's been wet, it's been cold, it's been difficult. I know some of you have had terrible weather, but we've got through it. We've got through it. Okay, on balance, all the bills have been paid. Everything that we've needed to pay for within the year has been paid for. Our long-term savings for this year haven't done well. So we have on average 2,500 a month. We save 20% of that, which is 500. You can see we've spent about 5,000 this year. We are left with about 1,000 in long-term savings for this year, not overall. But on reflection, we're in a very, 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 very lucky position because some people aren't in the position that we're in. They're still paying the mortgage, they're still paying off debts, and we are in a privileged position. We're in a lucky position. We understand that. So I hope you like our end of the year reflection of how we've coped with inflation this year and how we have made it. I hope you're okay. I hope you've made it. I hope you're in the positives and not in the negatives. I hope you're doing well. We'll see you on Sunday for a whole new year. Thanks for watching.